Samosa, one of the most demanded, one of the most wanted street food in India. Okay, and not just in India. Although there's so many variation of it now with the phyllo pastries, it's popular all over the world now, and maybe sometimes taken for granted that is simple, cheap, easy something. But I'm going to show you a recipe, the actual recipe, where you make the pastry, not using the phyllo pastry, and you make the filling, and it's simple filling just with potatoes. So can you imagine just a potato filling wrapped in a pastry and fried off? It's just one of the most amazing things you'll do. And you will see on my channel there is various other derivatives of samosas which you can use by reheating, although I won't recommend reheating. Is when the pastry is crusty, that straight out of the fryer, it is in the best form to eat. Although if there is some left, and I do it quite often, that I will fry it. If there is something left, I will reheat them by just kind of pan frying while reheating, so the pastry becomes crispy again, and we'll be used into a couple of different things. Okay, so look at this recipe. I'm really sure you're gonna enjoy it, and do give it a try, and make sure to make the pastry by hand. Okay, it's not as difficult. And as for the filling is concerned, I'm going to show you the basic filling, which is the potato filling. You can go and do different derivatives. You can have chicken filling, you can have lamb samosas, you can have literally anything what you like. Okay, so look at this recipe and give it a try. Thank you.
So let's make our dough for the pastry first. So I have plain flour here. I add ajwain seeds to it with a salt, and we're going to mix that very well to make sure all the salt is mixed nicely. Then we're going to add the shortness to the dough. So I'm just using normal sunflower oil. Give that a good mix as well. It will give you sort of sandy sort of texture. Okay, we're going to use the fork to start with. And we're going to use our hand just to rub that, just to make sure all flour has mixed very well with the oil, which is very, very important for a nice flaky crusty pastry. Okay, while that's done, we're gonna make a little sort of well in the middle. It's a very stiff dough, so you have to make sure not to add a lot of moisture to it. So add a little bit of water at a time. Work with your hands, and that's the reason this kind of dough can't be made in a mixer, electric mixer or something. So it has to be done, we have to feel the dough. Okay, so we're just coming to the right sort of moisture content there. Maybe touch more. And give that a good mix. Okay, I'm sort of happy with that. And just clean down the dough. And we're going to just give it a good knead. Okay. Once you have done that in the bowl, you have grabbed all the dry sort of flour, just bring that out on the table and give a very good knead to the dough. Okay, the whole technique of this is not to put too much pressure, but at the same time you're mixing the dough. So my hands are quite soft, I'm rubbing them around. It's not a bread dough, so you can't really put too much pressure on it, and make sure it gets enough rest, around half an hour. So for the dough, we are going to just use the boiled potatoes, the green peas. So I'm adding turmeric to it, a little bit of garam masala, a little bit of chili powder, roasted cumin powder, very important, very finely chopped ginger, or you can grate the ginger even, really small, and then a little bit of fresh coriander in the mixture. Now give that a good mix. Bit of salt to your taste. I'm just crushing all the potatoes, boiled potatoes by hand, just to make sure the mixture is very even and all the spices are mixed well together. Okay, so we're going to use our dough, which is well rested now. So start rolling down. Now I haven't used any oiled surface or floured surface. If my surface is pretty much non-stick, but if you are using any sort of surface which you think you need a little bit of moistness, so you can add a touch of oil. Don't use any flour. Okay, now I'm rolling it quite thin. Okay, don't worry about too much about shape. It's more like an oblong shape, but don't worry about the corners which are kind of in different shapes. Just cut that into half. Now I have plain water here, and just with the help of a brush, just brush all around the corners. And I'm going to fold the cut side, which is the straight line, just over the other one. Very simple. Just fold from the halfway through over the other one, stick it by pressure by hand, and it turns into a cone. I'm going to use the spoon just to fill the mixture in. Don't pack too much mixture in there. Okay, around 3/4 of the way full. Okay, and just the technique of folding that in again. Okay, just put all that corners, press them perfectly, just to make sure it's sealed very well, because you don't want it to open in the fryer. So that's one done. That's the traditional shape of the samosa. Okay, and you just carry on the process exactly same with the other dough which you have left over. Okay, so just a little cone shape. Fill up the potato filling. And just seal it, making sure it doesn't open up. Okay, so that's all the hard work in the past few minutes, and we're just going to fry it. For frying, just make sure oil is not too hot. You just kind of slow to medium hot. If you fry it on a very hot oil, you'll see a lot of blisters coming up on the pastry, and it won't be really sort of crispy. Okay, so it has to be cooked on a slow to medium heat. Now, just using a spider, you just kind of open this up and turn it around when you need to, making sure pastry is cooked evenly. Okay, and that's the color we are looking for. How delicious that looks. Okay, so all we're going to do is serve it with a little bit of mint chutney and tamarind chutney, and that's how it perfectly goes. So give it a shot and absolutely enjoy the recipe. Thank you.